Hey everyone, Chelsea here from So Simple Home. We've got a new project for you today. We are going to make kind of this scrappy quilt as you go hot pad. And this is a method that you can use for all sorts of different things, not just hot pads. You can make table runners this way, you can make placemats this way. We're just doing a hot pad because it's a lot easier to see. It's small, and I know that you all love hot pads or pot holders, whatever you want to call it. So let's get started, and I'll let you know everything you're going to need. So first thing you're going to need is some matching materials, matching fabrics that will work in this quilt. So I actually have a kit that came from Annie's Quilt Club that I'm using for this, and it actually came with 3-inch strips. So they're 3-inch wide, and I actually cut them in half. I'm only using 1/2-inch strips. So they're 1/2-inch wide and about 7 to 8 inches long. So you don't need really long strips. So this is great if you have a big pile of scrap fabric that you're trying to get rid of. And so there's probably 7 or 8 different designs in this fabric. And that's what I want. I want lots of fun designs. So you're going to need 7 or 8 1.5-inch by 8-inch strips. You're going to need a little piece for the center that's 2 inches by 2.5 inches. I know that's not completely square, but it kind of is what gives it this, I don't know, off-centered look, and I really like that. So this one I used a little bicycle. You can kind of see that here. This one I'm just going to use this flower motif here. Okay. Then you're going to need a piece of batting. Now I like to use Insulbright because it's thicker and it's meant for hot use in the kitchen. So this Insulbright will help repel the heat and keep your hands and your countertops and stuff safe. So this piece of Insulbright is about 6.5 inches by 6.5 inches square. And then the last thing that you're going to need is a piece of fabric for your backing that kind of matches. This is going to be 7 inches by 7 inches. I know that's weird, but it's going to help us so that we don't have to sew into the batting and have these really thick ends, and we don't want that. So 7 inches by 7 inches, 6.5 inches by 6.5 inches, 2 inches by 2.5 inches, and then 1.5 inch by 7 to 8 inches. All right, I think that's everything. So thread up your machine, and the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to put your fabric square in the center of your hot pad or your batting. Now you can fold it and then fold it again and find your exact center and, you know, line it up perfect, and that's totally up to you. I am putting mine on the diagonal here. If you wanted to put it straight, you could definitely put it straight. It's totally up to you. Okay, now on my fabric, this is the print that's in the middle. I'm actually taking that out. I'm not going to use that again. I want this to stand out on its own. And then you'll notice here, I have several dark blue prints, and they're all different. The print is different, but the color is very similar. So what I'm actually going to do is rotate them a little bit so that I'm not using the same color right next to each other. You kind of see how I did that? So we'll just stack these in a row, and I will start here. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take our first color and we're going to line it up, the raw edge of our strip to the raw edge of our square. And we're just going to sew at 1/4 inch, so this is going to line up on our presser foot, 1/4 inch down to the end of our box here, of our square in the middle. And not farther than that, at least not yet. So we're just stitching down. our fabric's right on the edge of our presser foot, right to the end, and then pull it out. Trim our threads here. All right, so I have all this extra fabric here. I'm just gonna take my scissors and I'm going to trim that excess fabric off right where that square is. You see that? So it's just outlining that square. And I'll cut these fabrics just so they're out of my way. Then I push this over and press, just like that. See how that worked? Now I'm going to do it with my next strip, but now I'm rotating. So this strip is going to match from the new strip that I sewed across my square. Same thing, lining it up at 1/4 inch, stitching to the end of my square, clipping my threads, then I turn this and cut so this line matches. See that? Now over on this side here, these are the fabrics that I've already sewn with, and I'm just stacking them on top of each other. Actually, I want to stack them this way. That way I know what order I'm in, so it can repeat itself if need be. I'm going to take my little Cricut Easy Press Mini. There's a link down in the description. I always get people ask me what I'm using. It's a Cricut Easy Press Mini. It is one of my favorite sewing tools. It's not even technically a sewing tool, but it's awesome. Okay, next one. Line it up, stitch across, cut my threads. If I can get them all. That one doesn't want to come off. Wants to stay forever. Clip. And then press out. And then I'm just going to keep doing that. Strip after strip, lining them up as straight as I can get it. Now it's not going to be perfect. We all know that I am not a quilter because I don't necessarily like to measure. I don't need everything to be completely accurate and perfect. I just want it to function, and this one will definitely function. And it's super cute. All right, so I've gone around my entire square one time. Now I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna start, again, this was the beginning piece here. I'm just gonna continue on with the fabric that I have in my lineup. Stitching all the way to the end of that piece. Trimming my threads. Where it should line up, and then pressing. Now you're going to see as we get closer to this outside, the fabric is going to overlap. That is fine, because in the end, if you remember, this piece is 7 inches by 7 inches. So we're technically trying to get our hot pad to be 7 inches by 7 inches. That's the goal. We want it to go all the way around so that we can increase the length of the hot pad. This guy I sewed over just a little bit, so we're going to have to fudge it. There we go. It's looking good. And remember, if it's not perfect, that's all right. Don't stress about it. You are doing your best, and every time you try something new, you do a little bit better. And that's all you can do. Okay? Handmade things aren't meant to be absolutely perfect. If they were, they wouldn't be handmade. They'd be made by a robot. All right, we're getting closer. Put this guy on this side. Stitch down. you'll see this time I ended off the material. So when I go to clip and trim this down, I'm not even on here. These two pieces are free from the Insole Bright. That's what you want, because again, we're extending this out around the outside. All right, here is my hot pad. It looks super wonky, I know that. I added some extras on the ends just to make sure we get all the way to the tips of our batting. So this is kind of the back of the batting here. And we've got all these strings that I didn't cut, so we're gonna go ahead and cut those just to get them out of our way. All right, now we get to measure. So what we're gonna do, we know that our back piece here is 7 inches by 7 inches. So we're gonna take our ruler and we're gonna add a 1/2 inch, or we're gonna cut an additional 1/2 inch on each edge. So we're going around and adding that 1/2 inch. And it's not going to be absolutely perfect. There are going to be some edges that may cut off. See, like right here, it's kind of cut off, and that's okay, because it's just, we want to stitch, we're going to stitch the seam allowance just on the edge of the batting so that we don't have the extra bulk. So even though these edges are kind of cut off, that's okay. All right, so that's kind of what it looks like. So the next thing we're going to do is put our 7 by 7 piece over the top here. And if you want to pin it just so it doesn't move, you can do that. And now we're going to stitch along this edge all the way around. We're making sure we're going to leave an opening on one of the edges. I'm going to leave an opening here so we can turn it right side out. So we're going to start at one pin and end at the other pin, and we're going to stitch along the batting. And when we get to a corner, we turn, lift, and keep going. Almost there, one more corner, turn, go to this pin, back stitch, there we go. Turn it around, make sure we cut all our corners. Looks good. Then we'll take our clippers. Take our clippers. I'm going to clip our corners. Get rid of all the bulk. And then we can turn it right side out. And then to push our corners in, just need like a pen or a pencil, wooden dowel, whatever you can find. Just push those corners out the best you can, so they look nice and sharp and square. Get this last corner out. There we go. Everything's turned right side out. And then we press. Okay. There we are. Doesn't look good. Press the back a little bit more here. Now there's a couple of options here. You can quilt it if you would like. You could have quilted it before. You could have come in and quilted in the seams you can quilt it now on your machine and add some stability to it. I am just going to put it in my machine, and I'm going to just top stitch around. That will close off my opening. But it'll also give it a little bit of stability as well. So that extra little bit of stitching will help stabilize those corners and help things to not unravel. Okay, and then I'm going to come in here and just trim up any extra threads that are on there. Take it and just press. And there it is. Now we have two very cute, easy, quilted hot pads. It's a really simple project. Doesn't take a lot of material. In fact, it's really great as a scrap busting project. This would be a really good project for seasonal sewing or holiday sewing. So if you have some fun like Valentine's Day print, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, 4th of July, whatever, that centerpiece could be a cute little heart or an animal of some sort or a flag, and really pop, and then everything else would just be a fun accent around it. These ones right here are really subtle. They'll be great just in my kitchen every day. A fun kind of spring or summer print. I wouldn't necessarily use these in the winter, but I could make some more that would go with my fall and winter stuff. But it's just a fun way to change things out in your kitchen. I will leave a link in the description to the photo tutorial that's over on the blog. So if you want to print it to get all of the exact dimensions for all of the material that you'll need and how much you'll need. So everything will be over there. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments or feel free to email me, and we will see you guys next time.